Good afternoon, I'm Jeff. I'm a Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 11350 Southwest Riverwood Road here in Portland. We're currently in the guest house, or I guess we're in the mechanical room next to it. We're working our way from the right side of the property all the way over to the left, going to the main house last. So anyway, we're here by the utility sink in the pump house. We're cammering the line coming off the guest home here. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We do have water running. Here we go. That hanging down there is excess pipe glue. That's not a root intrusion. Kind of looks like one, but it's not roots. And we're going to move over to another clean out here. Alright, the camera's hanging up here at this turn here at about 52 feet out. I just located the camera head. The line has now passed into the main house and is just about to pop out. It's really hard to describe without seeing it, but we're just about to pop out kind of the rear right corner of the main house. We still have some water draining out here. There's very, very little standing water in this line at all. It's in good condition, has good flow. Now from this point out, all the other lines we're going to scope here are going to be on the main house. There's about 3 or 4 different branches, it looks like, based on the amount of cleanouts I've seen. And we're just going to move from, so if you're standing in the street looking at the property, we're moving from the right side all the way over to the left side, going from the guest house to the main house. This spot right here is the most significant standing water I'm seeing, and it's hovering right around 1/2 of an inch, which is not a significant amount of water. And you can see, based on how clean this is here, that the line is functioning, doing what it's supposed to do. So this section of the pipe is functioning at this time. Oh, we broke that piece of glue off that I pointed out. It looked like a root. Check that out. Busted it free. So there's no longer any of that in there. All right, we're in a nook behind the main house here, coming through the crawl space. We're going to camera backwards for a moment to just scope back to what all the stuff that we had to bypass. That line we just tried to scope through there a moment ago was a storm drain pipe, not the sewer. Alright, this right here is the turn that we originally stopped at a little bit ago when we were scoping from the guest house. We're going to go ahead and start reeling back from here. Alright, the line's all drained out. Looks like we do have some standing water right there, very insignificant amount. Generally you need at least, at the very least, 5 feet of sewer pipe with at minimum an inch of water before you really start to get major debris buildup in the line. You can see we are getting some stuff hung up in here, but nothing major. Now, as long as you're not flushing things down the line that shouldn't be going down there, you'll be in good shape. The biggest items to avoid, and this line here is connected to this kitchen area on the far right side that kind of butts up against where the pool's at. Now, as long as you're not putting a bunch of grease and stuff like that down the sink, that will continue to function just fine. Alright, we're now going to move down this direction here, over towards, I think, what is the original part of the main house. You know what, I take that back, I'm sorry. We have to now scope from this point all the way over to that point, so. Now we are hitting some debris build up here. I just had to kind of shove my way through there. Alright, we've now made it to the, it'll be the third clean out we go through at this point here. We're going to move over to that. I'm going to go ahead and start reeling back. We do have an issue here on the hillside, though. I think it may be associated with roots, possibly, but all that junk and debris we went through right off the bat there is concerning. It was, my camera had to punch through a clog. I went and located the camera head here just to verify we are at the next clean out there, and we're going to move down just a moment. I think we may have a spot in this section of the line, though, that may either need drain cleaning or possibly some repair work done to it. right about here. And the counter is off a little bit. I've got to have my reel 20 feet roughly from the clean out. It's been difficult to zero the camera out at the proper times. This is actually quite close to the clean out where this is at. Now right there my camera is catching on something. The problem is there's so much debris in the way I can't tell what the heck's going on, whether it's a belly in the line. I suspect that's probably the issue. You could have a root intrusion clogging the line up here. Now I'm going to try and locate this as best I can. Probably the best I'll be able to do though is simply marking the beginning of this and then just have the repair guys measure out. We'll push out to the end of the belly so we know how long it is, but I will mark right here. There's just so many trees and stuff to try and get through. Very difficult spot to locate in. All right, I got that spot there located. It's about a 10-foot section of pipe that had the belly going on it. That or it's a root intrusion again. Because of the debris and water in the line, I can't tell. I know that my camera caught up on something there in the midst of about halfway into that belly there. So anyway, I'll try and show this spot with the camera lens, and the repair guys are just going to have to basically work their way forward until they get to the end of the issue. It looks like to me you may have the combination of a belly and a root intrusion, given the amount of water, standing water that was in there. Anyway, right up the side here, it's kind of hard to see the clean out, but you can see my white paint markings on the ground. It's only a foot from the clean out, and it extends across the hillside here about 10 feet. And I do recommend that spot there be corrected. And we're now going to move on down here to where the clean out, where we stopped, down that direction. Alright, we're over here at the third clean out. Someone told me this is where possibly an addition was put on over there where we just came from. And we're over here, I think, kind of behind the original portion of the main house. Got a whole bunch of pipes that come out of the wall here. And this clean out right here is right where the camera just stopped a moment ago. Now we do have some original cast iron pipe here, it looks like. Up till this point, everything else we've scoped here has been updated. This looks like it's just doing a straight shot down the back hillside. Well, unfortunately, whatever's going on here is stopping the camera cold in its tracks. I think we may have a transition here, possibly. It's hard to tell that. We just got it could be a root intrusion that's coming up through a pipe joint or something here. I'm not exactly sure what that is. All I know is that it's very hard and it's blocking a bunch of the pipe here. We'll give it another couple tries, but I think that's where the camera's stopping at. Yeah, my camera's not really breaking through it, so I'm going to try and locate this if I can. It is down the back hillside here. And that's a spot there where you've lost almost half the diameter of the pipe because of that object there. Given how this pipe is sloped, I mean it's almost straight up and down, it's unlikely, I would say, for this to cause problems, but if you put something down the line that shouldn't go down there, like a big bunch of paper towels or something of that nature, this is a spot where it could totally stick and clog the line up. But you have a ton of hydraulic pressure bearing down on anything that clogs up here, so anyway, I do recommend it be repaired either way. I located the camera head successfully. Again, the line does drop off the back hillside. There's a pathway that leads down to the beach. And we're about 3/4 of the way down the path where I'm locating it. It's right where the path butts up against a boulder retaining wall, and it's essentially at the bottom of the hill. I put a huge white X down there. I am picking the depth up at about 11 feet. What's hard to tell with all those boulders there, it's possible it may be just barely underneath it or just out from it, but with the rocks there, it's very difficult to discern which it is. So I put a X marking right up above where I'm picking the signal up. It would be a rather tricky repair to do. I can pretty much guarantee that. But it looks like it's sitting right at the bottom, as best I can tell, because this is, I believe, flattened out there a little bit. It might still be in the vertical drop though, and what you could have there, because of that boulder wall, it's possible you do have a rock that's actually weaseling its way through the joint there. It's that or it's roots. And that's when you'd have to contact a repair guy to figure out how best to deal with that. It's a very tricky issue, and it's one that at this point is more of a technicality than anything. There's no major debris buildup there. I don't see evidence that it's clogged, but it's something that has the potential to. So recommending a repair for that reason. But it would be a rather involved repair, I think, to get that corrected. And unfortunately, that is as far as we can go. That ledge there is about an inch, inch and a half tall and completely stops the camera. And I think we've got one more clean out to go scope through here. That's at the far left side of the house. You're looking at it from the street. Everything up until that point there at 70 feet is in all the cast iron and ABS pipes in good shape. So as an overview so far, we've got the issue there at 70 feet from that point of access, and then we also have the belly. Again, it's about an 8 to 10 foot section of bellied pipe, possibly with roots in it, that's back over here. And my diagram will hopefully make that a little bit clearer. It's a kind of a confusing scope here. Now we're going to move on down. There is a clean out that's underneath the stairs over at the far left side of the house in the back of it. We're going to scope that and camera all the way over to where it ties up to this clean out here. Alright, we're over here at the fourth and final point of access. This is under the metal stairs out back here, kind of out from where I think the master bedroom is at. At least it looks like a master bedroom. That's the sink we have running currently, is the bathroom sink. Alright, I'm going to go locate. This looks like the drop here up the clean out we just came from. Now I did locate the camera head here. We are indeed at that clean out I mentioned before. We're going to go ahead and start reeling back. I got another spot here. We do have some water running still. We've got about a ½ inch of water there. Again, a big concern. We're just about to reel the camera out of the line here, and that's the last of the sewer we're going to scope. As an overview, and this will be on the diagram, but the second clean out we went from just out of the addition on the house. We have the belly there that's about 10 feet long. I recommend that be repaired. That's marked with a white X. And then we have the obstruction in the line at 70 feet from the main cleanout that's attached to that cast iron pipe. That's down the hillside. That is also marked as best I can. It looks like it's going underneath the retaining wall there. So that's one that I would try to do a hydrojet to remove the blockage or whatever is there and try and camera past it. If everything beyond that point is in good shape, if there's not a clean out in, I would definitely install one down at the bottom there so the whole line's serviceable. Aside from that, the rest of the line we've scoped there, other than those two items, is in good condition and functioning at this time. Beyond that 70-foot point down the hill, though, we don't know what the rest of that part of the line looks like. So I do recommend getting some type of secondary access, whether that's done by jetting that object out of the way or by installing a clean out so we can camera the rest of the pipe.